In the late 1800s, a man had an idea that turned into an earthquake. How'd that happen?
In my hands are some wild ideas from famous inventors. It's your job to figure out, are they good ideas?
Let's find out.
All right, John. Everybody knows the famous inventor Alexander Graham Bell.
Yeah.
He invented things like
the telephone.
Exactly. He also invented a metal detector.
Okay.
Did you know this?
I did not.
Well, a lot of people were working on that, but the question is why did he come up with this?
To find metal? To find gold? Maybe he thought there was gold in his backyard?
Did he A, come up with it to save the life of an American president, to which he succeeded?
Ooh.
B, do it to aid in the saving of a life of an American president, to which he failed?
Okay.
Or C, did he do it to aid in the cleanup of unused landmines used during the Civil War?
I'm gonna say he tried to save a president and succeeded.
Okay. Well, landmines were used in the Civil War. He did not invent it for that purpose, though. He did invent it to try to save the life of a U.S. American president. This president was none other than Garfield. So the problem was James Garfield was shot. And several people had been working on metal detectors, but they weren't very good. Well, Alexander Graham Bell, upon learning that the president had been shot, thought he could save his life with an idea of his own. So he came up with a metal detector and went to Alexander Graham Bell's doctor, Dr. Bliss. His name was Doctor, and he was also a doctor.
His name was Doctor?
His name was Doctor. Now, he had a bad habit of not washing his hands. Didn't believe in germ theory. It was still kind of new in its day. Well, Alexander Graham Bell continued to use his metal detector over Garfield, trying to find it. It went off a lot, and Bliss decided to start digging around. Unfortunately, because he wasn't a fan of germ theory, Garfield died. And the thing was only going off because of the metal springs in Garfield's mattress. So you hire a bad doctor, you don't think about the metal detector and the springs, and it turns out you just kill a US president.
Oh gosh. Good idea, poor execution. Danny, who is one of the greatest, most prolific, but underrated inventors of all time?
Oh, me.
Not you. You know there's a famous electric car company named after him?
Oh, Ford.
No.
Tesla.
There it is.
There it is.
Tesla was a pioneer of lots of different things, including AC power, which we use all the time. Well, Tesla had a lot of really good ideas, but they weren't all winners. For some reason, he had the idea to make an earthquake machine.
Okay, so he's a Bond villain.
So let's guess what happened when he was testing the earthquake machine. Did it A, start working but got out of control and he had to destroy it with a hammer to turn it off? B, it caused an earthquake that knocked out the power in New York City for 12 hours? Or C, it didn't work but was later adapted into a massage chair?
I'm gonna say he knocked out the power in New York.
You got one part right. In 1893, in his New York laboratory, Tesla is hard at work making all sorts of crazy inventions. He's scribbling notes and he's got bubbling gases and he's all, just wild inventor stuff. So he comes up with this steam-powered oscillator that's driving a piston, okay? So you just, imagine that. Well, if you tune it just right, the boom, 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 boom kind of matches the frequency of the building and they just resonate together. Boom, 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 boom. Well, the building starts to shake and the whole thing is rumbling, okay? So it's an earthquake, small scale earthquake of the whole building. People start running out, everyone's freaking out. The cops get called, they show up, what's happening? Well, Tesla, he's gotta shut it all down because he can't go to jail over this. So he smashes the earthquake machine with a hammer and destroys it before the cops can shut it down and arrest him.
Why would you do this in a building that other people were in a major metropolitan area?
Evil villain?
Evil villain.
Probably not the brightest idea to make an earthquake machine in New York City. Thanks to Skillshare for sponsoring this video from a couple of lifelong learners.
Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of classes for creative and curious people.
Starting a business is really tricky and there's a lot to learn. There's a lot we still don't know. So Skillshare is perfect because they've got classes on entrepreneurship, marketing, branding, they've got it all.
Or learn how to do what we do. They have everything from teaching you photography, your online social media presence, even YouTube.
Skillshare provides a membership with meaning. It costs less than $10 a month and there's real projects and real people to give you feedback on what you're working on. I'm really excited about this class, DIY Product Photography by fellow creators Mango Street, whose YouTube channel I really like. Now, I've spent my career in this field of content for products, but I really like Mango Street and I like their fresh take on things, so I'm really excited for this course.
I'm taking Christopher Griffin's class on plants at home because I'm about to be inside for a while this winter and why not bring some life in the house? explore classes to unlock your creativity.
The first 1,000 people to click the link in our description will get a free trial of Skillshare Premium membership. Do it.
We like talking to you about products and brands that we actually love, and we're lifelong learners, so Skillshare is perfect. Thank you so much for sponsoring this video. All right, John, everyone knows Benjamin Franklin loved to experiment with electricity, right?
Yeah, I know that.
Everybody also knows he really loved turkeys.
Yeah, I knew that too.
He wanted them to be the national bird. Now you know everything you need to know about Benjamin Franklin and turkeys. Except Benjamin Franklin did combine his love of those two things, and his goal was to kill and cook a turkey with electricity.
But he wanted that to be the national bird. Never mind, keep going.
They were still delicious, it doesn't matter. Anyway, so what you need to figure out is, did it A, work, but he overcooked the turkey, and it had a metallic taste?
Probably.
Did it B, not generate enough electricity beyond a static charge? Or C, was Franklin engulfed in a flash of light and electrocuted while the turkey waddled away unharmed?
I don't think it was C, but that's hilarious. I'm gonna go with A.
So, everyone knows Benjamin Franklin loved science and experimentation. Well, he came up with this theory that you could kill someone with an electric charge, but you could also cook food with it. So it was his goal then to experiment and hook up a turkey to some electrodes, kill it, and then cook it.
That sounds like old Frankie.
He tested this a few times to no avail using some jars which were basically primitive batteries. It didn't work very well, except for one time he successfully killed that turkey. So, what next after you figured out you could do it once? Try it in front of a bunch of people.
Yeah, don't keep testing. Just perform it live.
Well, he did it live, and in the process, the jars malfunctioned. There was a burst of light that electrocuted him in front of everybody. The turkey survived, and he was awfully embarrassed. In fact, writing to his brother, "Please don't tell anybody about this."
Ben, what were you doing, man?
At least through this, he figured out you could tenderize meat with electricity. Chefs still do that to this day.
The Franklin method.
The Franklin method.
It's not a thing. Not every wild idea happened a long time ago. Here's one that's happening right now. Let's talk about the modern day evil genius, Elon Musk. Elon Musk has an idea to provide global internet for all.
Love it.
Sounds pretty good, right? Well, how does he plan on doing this? A, he wants to build a cell tower on the moon and beam internet to Earth.
Uh-oh.
B, he wants to use a network of self-driving cars as Wi-Fi hotspots. Or C, he wants to launch 42,000 satellites into low Earth orbit.
That seems like too many satellites, and given that he kind of has a evil villain attitude already, I'm gonna say he's gonna put something on the moon.
Well, in 2015, Starlink, which is a division of SpaceX, began working and prototyping small, low-cost, we're talking like $200 satellites, okay? They need to build a lot of them. In 2018, they launched a couple of them up to space and they worked. So they started launching 60 at a time, and they've been doing this pretty regularly since then. So just even like a month ago, they launched 60 satellites up into Earth, let them all go, and they're kind of slowly covering the Earth with these satellites. They're almost up to about 1,440 satellites, which will be enough for anyone anywhere on the planet to get internet access. That's not even close to the 42,000 satellites that they're preparing to put up there over the next decade. Now, the problem is astronomers are pretty upset about this.
It's gotta be blocking some stuff.
There's a lot of space junk just floating around and it's blocking, telescopes from seeing things.
So my question is what's to stop him from using these satellites to just take over the world?
He probably won't.
That's not reassuring.
No, it's not. They've already turned on the satellites and they're working. People are reporting pretty good internet speeds with them, so we'll see. We might all be getting our internet from space someday.
I have questions, but let's move along. Everyone knows Einstein was a genius.
Yeah, he was like the Einstein of his day.
Yep. Well, Einstein had a passion project, and it was refrigeration. It was kind of in its infancy at the time, and the biggest problem was, well, it was gaseous. Accidentally killed people sometimes when those gases leaked out. So,
refrigerators killed people before Einstein?
Oh yeah, they would leak their gases and then the gases would kill people. After reading about a family of 7 dying, Einstein committed to inventing a refrigerator. Well, he did invent a refrigerator. Question was, did it work? Was it A, never actually constructed because it was so explosive it was more of a bomb than a fridge? B, it worked so well that it achieved absolute zero? Or C, his design was used to cryogenically freeze people?
Ooh, I really want C to be true. Let's do that.
Okay, well, Einstein's refrigerator technically did work. It was no moving parts, it required no power, just a heat source, and you could use these gases, which seemed safe, to cool your whatever you wanted to cool in a refrigerator.
Why don't we have these now?
Well, the problem is, if those gases did leak out and meet with the oxygen in the air, it would blow up and create a gigantic bomb. So while it worked really well and it was really efficient, it was a little dangerous. So no one actually ever got around to making one.
If you like this video, check out Timely, which is our podcast about fun, random topics from the past, present, and future. I think you're really gonna like it. Check it out.